He does. You're gonna say he doesn't, but he does. If there even is one. If there is a God. So I was raised Christian, but I'm definitely not model citizen now. I don't feel like making jokes. I don't I don't not believe in God. I treat him as a constant, kind of like a constant pain in my ass. I guess I do feel like making jokes. I don't know. I kind of blame him for everything, because why else, you know? Why else would there be all of this and all of that, and But he's got a plan. He's got a plan. Why is his plan, give Tom AIDS and give Jane cancer and, make Fred a pedophile and make John a murderer? Like, why is that his plan, I was talking to. I mean, I guess he's not like a friend, but I'm friendly with him. I was talking to a guy I know the other day, and I was like, all jokes aside, cancer kids are actually kind of badass. Because imagine God himself wanted you dead and you said no. Which goes hard, that shit goes hard. Like, God himself is trying to fucking murder you. And you just hit him with the Miles Morales, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. So seriously, all joking aside, like, cancer kids are badass, man. I'd be dunking on them in basketball. They ain't got shit on me. You try running a fucking mile, little Timmy. you know? But he was like, oh, that's not what it is. And, he's like, well, that's not how it works. God doesn't want that. And I'm like, well, why else? Why else would God give, 5-year-olds cancer? You know? And that's the type of stuff that makes me not be a believer, or at least not be a Christian. Like, I guess, technically I am a believer because I'm talking about him as if he's a real thing, as if he's actually doing stuff. But, so like the Christos are gonna be like, checkmate. But I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't not believe. Like I said, I don't not believe. I call myself agnostic, which just means I'm willing to be proven wrong. And I fully mean that. If I die and walk up to the pearly gates, and I see like Jesus or God or an angel, even like it doesn't have to be one of the guys. It could be like just like an angel. Like here's Joe. A lot of fake names in this video. Not a bad thing, just a noticing thing. But anyways, then I'll be a believer, right there. If I die and go to the fields of Elysium and Hades is there, I'm gonna be like, what's up, Hades? If I die and go see Anubis and get my feather weighed against a feather weighed against my soul, and be like, sup a newbie, sick fursuit, bro. And I fully mean that. I'll just be I'll instantly convert, because that's all you gotta fucking do, and that's all yet you can't do. Proof is the most important thing, you know? Could you imagine if people were like court cases, like people were like thrown in jail on faith? What would fucking happen? You know? I mean, not today, anyways. It happened like way back in the, day and shit when people were stupid, you know? But it wouldn't fucking happen today, you know? But proof matters, you know? You know what I can prove? You know what I believe in without a hint, a shadow of a doubt? What I fully believe in? Dolphins. I believe in dolphins. Dolphins are real. I can go touch a dolphin. I have seen a video of a dolphin. I've seen pictures of a dolphin. I've seen documentaries of dolphins. I've seen a dolphin. I can go touch a dolphin. I can go, pat, pat, pat a dolphin on the head. If I am ever in the position where I can't pat, pat, pat a dolphin in the head, that'd be freaking awesome. That'd be cool. That would be very neat. Even though dolphins are evil psychopaths. Another word I can't say online. Well, I mean, I already said whatever. But anyways, it's not a word I enjoy saying. I believe in dolphins. You don't have to prove to me dolphins are real. And if you did, then, well, that's like kind of another issue in and of itself. Like, if I don't believe in dolphins, bro, I don't have to have faith that dolphins are real. I don't have to have, I don't have to take you on your word for it, The Bible, you check the sources at the end, and it's like, just trust me, Just trust you? What? I don't trust anyone, Oh, but this is a story corroborated by tons of people. You know what else is? Dragons, and you don't believe in that, motherfucker. So if you don't believe in dragons, why do you believe in God? Yeah? Yeah, Bigfoot, cryptids, fucking chakras, souls, like the alignment chart, like Greek mythology is corroborated by thousands of people. Why aren't y'all worshiping Zeus? Why are you worshiping God? Why aren't you worshiping? Why are you worshiping? Huh? People say like, oh, it's corroborated by this many people, and it's like, yeah, people are really fucking dumb and will believe anything. And once you believe in one thing, you start attributing that to everything. I survived this, horrible accident. It must have been God. No, it wasn't. You just got really fucking lucky. You know? The cancer treatments were a success and you no longer have cancer. It must have been God. No, it wasn't. It was modern medicine and a very underappreciated doctor. You know? Like, if I was a doctor and they were like, thank God you cured me, I'd be like, I did that. He didn't do that. I didn't, that was me. That wasn't a group effort. At the end of the day, I want to believe. Like I said, I'm agnostic. If I just saw the dude, or dudette, I'm not judgy. But if I just saw them, shook their hand, had that elevator moment where you have a talk with God, then fuck it, I'd believe, bro. I'd switch right over and be like day one, I mean, I've been baptized for fucking crying out loud. Twice? No, only once. But I've been baptized. So, like, I do want to. And I still practice, like, some aspects of Christianity. Like, I'm incredibly helpful to people. I live for others. I, try to look outward. I don't really look at myself too much. I pray. I will legitimately do that. Me calling, this and that out, I don't get on my hands and knees, the only thing I get on my hands and knees for is my boyfriend, but I do pray. like when I'm driving or at night when I'm or on the couch, for instance, when I'm laying in bed, I'll dear God, blah blah blah, how you doing? Amen. But you want to know what I do? I don't pray for myself. I don't think I've ever prayed for myself. And that's not being like showboaty. It's just true. I don't pray for myself because what's the fucking point? He doesn't answer them. Anyways, it's not like he's gonna fucking answer it. I prayed for my hair back fucking 20 million times as a kid. Didn't happen. Because he doesn't fucking listen because he's not fucking real. But I pray for other people. To this day, I pray for other people. Because if he is real, and if he is out there, and if he does actually do anything, if the powerless fuck actually fucking cared about us, it's like, yeah, we killed your son. That was 2,000 years ago. Get over it. Anyways, I pray for other people. I pray for my mom who is going through this or that. I pray for a friend of mine who is going through this or that. That's the type of prayers I do. If this person is in danger or sick or she's got or she or he's got like something going on in their personal life that they're struggling with, then I pray for them. Because if he is fucking real, then I hope he at least cares about those prayers. The selfless looking out prayers. Looking outward, I mean. Not looking out, but like looking outward. Because I know he doesn't care about me. People are like, no, he loves you, he cares about you. Fucking show it then. If God loves me, then he's a horrible fucking person. He's one of those people that, like, never calls you, never talks to you. Never does this, never does that. It's like... I wanted to have a relationship. I don't know if I still do, but I wanted to have a relationship with God. I wanted to, be friends with the guy. I used to... See, I pray very, and I've done this my whole life. I pray very, casually, I guess would be the word. Like I said, I don't get down on my knees and clasp my hands together. I just talk to him as if you were talking to a friend. Because there's that one song that's like, spoke to God as if he were a friend. It's a country song from back in the day. But, because of that song, that's how I talk to God whenever I do talk to him, I will just straight. I'll start out with like dear God or dear Lord, and then after like that's more just like getting his attention. Like, excuse me, sir, But I used to talk to him just damn near every single day, like when I was going to school and stuff, because I used to walk to school because I used to live like close enough where I could do that. And there was nobody on my walk. It was just me, because apparently I was like the only fucking kid in the outside of the neighborhood. Because I lived on like there was like a neighborhood was like kind of like inner neighborhood, and then the outside of the neighborhood faced the roads, alright? And like all of the kids lived on the inner neighborhood. I was the one singular kid that lived on the out of the neighborhood that faced the road, bro. So I was alone for my walks. And, I was just chatting him up. I probably looked schizophrenic, because I wasn't, again, wasn't like this the whole way. I was just talking to him as if I'm talking to you now. Just talking to God like he was a friend because of that song. But friends answer, friends respond. Could you imagine if you were talking to someone and they just didn't ever respond to you? You know how fucking rude that is? God's rude. Like, I was a kid, bro. Nowadays, if I pray to him, it's like, yeah, whatever, I'm a grown-ass man. But, like, like, it's like the kids... Alright, so when you're in the store, right? You're in Walmart or, like, fucking Target, wherever you go shopping at. When there's, like, that little kid, like, the little kid, who says hello to everyone, and you say hello back because assumedly you're a good person, and you like judge the people who don't say hello back. Like the people who don't say hello back, I'm like, you bitch, say hello to the kid. God's a bitch. He is. He didn't say hello to the kid, man. Not once is that motherfucker picked up. And he is a motherfucker, you know. Because if I'm gonna talk to God like a friend, I'm gonna talk about him like he's one too. And he's not been a very good friend. He's a horrible friend, and he's incredibly petty and jealous. You know, thou shalt not worship other gods but me. You're jealous, bro. You know, that kind of implies that you're worried in the first place. You know, it's giving insecure. You know, God's like the boyfriend who's like manipulative and is like doesn't want you to talk to other guys. That's what God is. You know, he's like, don't talk to other gods than me. I don't like it when you talk to other gods. You know, it's just a god. It doesn't matter. He's just a friend. No, I'm your friend. I'm going to talk to you. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. You know, oh, it's not like that. You're shut up. You know, and he, right from day fucking one, the first page, not the first page literally, but like the first bit of the Bible, just completely like they got it wrong in the very first chapter, bro. Genesis, like, you know, because I've always fucking hated the story of Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden because God fucking hated us from the beginning, and it's proof because Adam and Eve, right, before they ate from the tree of knowledge, that was the tree of knowledge, you know, knowledge. That was, you know, they didn't necessarily know right from wrong. They were babies. They were like, you know, full grown, but they were babies, essentially. They were innocent, pure beings. That's in the Bible. Like, that's how they, you know, describe them. It's like being innocent and pure. And then God literally just put this one tree in the Garden of Eden and was like, don't eat from this tree. You can do whatever you want, do everything else, but don't eat from this tree. And then, like, left us alone to be, what's the word, like, seduced by the dark side, you know. And then got pissy when he came back and we were eating from the Garden of the tree. Imagine if you put fucking children, you know, not like toddlers, because I imagine Adam and Eve like were competent enough like mentally to be like on the level of kids, but imagine like that's like putting a bowl of candy in the room of like, you know, two kids and being like, you can do whatever you want, just don't eat from this bowl of candy. And then what they do, kids gonna do what kids gonna do, and then you get all mad and you fucking kick them out and you abandon them, you know? Fuck you, God. Fuck you personally, God. You know? The first bit of the Bible, you instantly fucked up. These were innocent, pure, brand new beings that did not exist that you just completely put a pitfall. It's a pitfall. You know? You wanted us to fail. And that's like legitimately, genuinely my theory is he wanted us to fail, you know? So that, you know, because everybody says God has a plan, God has a plan. If bad things happen to you, it must be for a reason. You know, God wanted to teach humanity. I'm kind of onto something. What if, like, he made us in his image, you know, but he wanted us to fail so that we would have all of this horrible stuff happen to us? So that, like, like, who's to say by the year 10,026, then we're, like, perfect beings again? You know, we've gone through all of the hardships, and we're, like, you know, worthy enough to not just be in his image, but accept his image. You know? I'm being that's kind of a cool thought. I hadn't thought about that like that. I'm kind of being like 100% genuine. Just came up with that on the spot. You know, what if the pitfall was intentional and not God being a douche? I mean, it's still him being a douche, but he was being a douche for a reason because he's got a plan. I fucking hate that, you know? And then more examples of God being like a petty fucking loser is like, you know, if you turn back while I'm destroying this city, I'm gonna turn you to salt. Oh, you turn back? Well, you're salt now, loser. Haha. Fucking just scrambling all of our languages for no fucking reason because we wanted to build a really tall building. Fuck you, God. Fuck you. You know, your building's getting a little too tall. You're getting big for your britches. Now you can't understand each other. You know? Fuck you, God. And just everything, man. I hate it. Also, you're a total douche for sending your son to die, bro. Like, that's your son, man. Or also you. Or also the Holy Spirit. Or also. You know, but like, when do you do that, man? You know? I don't know. I do know why, but I'm just saying, like, you know, that's kind of douchey, bro. It's like if I sent a friend of mine to, uh, let's see. That's like in a mafia movie where somebody is sent to, like, apologize to the mafia, and it's always the guy they don't fucking care about. They're, like, expendable, you know? So, like, the, you know, guy who gets sent to go talk to the mafia gets his hands cut off, but you know the family is good now and the family is satisfied and they're not going to keep pursuing you. That's what it is. God's the mafia, because he's the one who set the rules, you know, with the whole 10 commandments, you know. So I just, these are all just my unfiltered thoughts, man. And it's the whole, if God is all powerful, he can't be all knowing. No, all good. Because if he was all good, then why is he letting these things happen, you know? Oh, it's because of free will, and it's because, you know, he gives us the option to choose between good and evil, and it's up to us. I get that, you know, sure. But when, like, there's, like, levels to the evil shit, bro. Like, if you're just, like, jaywalking and, you know, spray painting, like, the sides of bridges and shit, like, you know, that's a sin, sure. You know, you're not supposed to do that. And I know it's like a law, but it's technically a sin to break the law because you're still actively going against something that you know is, like, you know, so it is still a sin to break the law. But anyways, but but law is not sin. Like, law is not the Bible. Uh, some people like to think it is, but it's not. Anyways, I just want to make that clear. But like, if you're just doing that, like, if you know, and then there's like the one level up where it's like, you know, sin, where it's like one level up from like jaywalking and stuff. You're like making fun of people online and bullying people and stuff like that, and then like another level up is like you're speeding. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Um, I'm just what the fuck was I even talking about? There's levels to this shit. When you get all the way down to like level 9, and why is he allowing why is he allowing people to fucking eat babies and murder and like SA people and stuff like that? Why is he allowing that? You know, oh, because free will, they'll be punished in the afterlife. What about the people that didn't deserve to be punished? What about the victims? You know? Yeah, yeah, look at them. What did they do to deserve that? You know, what are you on some like jigsaw shit where they're like, you know, they didn't appreciate their lives. You know? What if they did? What if, you know, what about all the innocent like little old ladies that, you know, just didn't do anything wrong and just lived their lives and knit their needles, that get chopped up and put in bales. That's a real thing that happened in it. Like, you can probably find where I live now, where I used to live, I don't care. But, like, in my hometown, there was a, like, 70-year-old woman, 80-year-old woman, something like that, and she got fucking murdered, chopped up, burned, and put in a barrel. What does she do? What'd she do, God? What sin did she commit? Maybe when she was younger, she was, like, super racist and, smoked cigarettes, I guess. But, like, what did she do? And if you're all about forgiveness and she turned a new leaf, then why'd that still happen? Did she not? I don't know, man. Was she 70 years old and still kicking puppies? So, yeah. Guess at the end of the day, I am a believer, but I'd rather not be, because then all of this stuff that happens is just stuff that happens. But if I'm a believer, then this stuff is happening for a reason, and this stuff is happening because, and why and how, and according to plan. You know. I'm seriously now thinking about the whole. What if we were supposed to fail? Uh, why is it that we fail, Master Wayne, to get us to get ourselves back up? Batman Begin. That's God, Batman Begin. Oh my God. Oh my God, How is what source of light is making it so my shadow is visible on the ceiling? I don't know. Weird. But yeah, um, if I die, I'm going to hell. You know, like it's just that's just how I am. I'm very nice, and I make people happy, and I live outward. But I also suck dick. So, oh no, going to hell, eternal damnation because I should eat the meat. Like, don't make it so good looking then. That's my apple. It's like, dude's balls, man. Balls are fucking awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but it's like, you know. Uh, I do other stuff, obviously, like, but like, I'm just saying, I'm going to hell anyways, so I don't try anymore. But the thing is I don't live a good like I'm not a good person because of God. Like, I don't do this shit. It's kind of, if you need the threat of hell and the threat of God to be a good person, then you're kind of not a good person. I don't even actually believe in that shit, But I'm still helping the little old ladies cross the street, and I'm still doing this, doing that, living for others. I don't know, man. Uh, so I guess, like, closing thoughts, you know, in conclusion, uh, God's a bitch. He wanted us to fail. He is extremely petty, jealous, and a total fucking loser. You know? I don't believe in him. I believe in God. Uh, I've been Scavenger Reviews, man. And I'll catch you on the next one, I guess. I don't know. Like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube shit. Let me know other examples. I'm sure there's more examples, and then I'll have more, like, ammo next time I make a really big rant video where curse God, you know. You know, I'm sure there's other examples of God being a petty fucking loser, manipulative boyfriend, you know, in the Bible, you know. Like, give me some more examples, guys. Hype me up while you're at it, and then, yeah, that's about it. Adios. Amen.